Hey everyone, it's a pleasure to make your virtual acquaintance. My name is Susan Gebhard, but my students all know me better as Dr. G. I'm at Millersville to do a second master's degree, this go around for gifted education. I'm enrolled in this course for the evaluation half. In terms of a professional introduction, I usually claim myself to be a vintage educator. When it comes right down to the actual numbers, I'll admit to having been doing something related to schools or teaching and learning for about 35 years now, and I've been lucky that my long tenure has included experiences with various permutations, people, and places. Throughout the past few decades, I've made some lateral moves, such as jumping grade to grade, mostly in the intermediate 3 to 5 band, and moving in and out of reading specialist positions. But I've also done some vertical movement. At the insistence of others, I climbed the educational career ladder from classroom teacher to various administrative positions and on into professorships and directorships for teacher education programs and graduate departments. And yes, I am well aware that my path represents an admission of having caved to the pressures of social expectations. But it might come as a surprise, or it might not, that about 4 years ago I had a revelation. I found myself hunched over the computer in my office, looking at a pile of paperwork and an administrivia to-do list about a mile long, and I thought about how much of my day-to-day tasks I hated. The portion that I still liked were the moments of wandering the school, popping in and out of classrooms, interacting with faculty and students, or playing with curricula. What I wanted, no, make that what I needed, was a demotion, a return to my classroom teaching roots. So that's more or less what I did. The long journey up and then back down again has led me up and down the East Coast as well. I'm a Pittsburgh girl born and bred, but I've worked in some kind of educational capacity or another in states from Pennsylvania to Ohio to Florida to North Carolina to Massachusetts and back to Pennsylvania. But now I'm home, not only in terms of being back in the classroom, but also in a return to the Pittsburgh region. I currently serve as a K-6 gifted resource support teacher at Evans City Elementary and Middle Schools, which are part of the Seneca Valley School District just northwest of the city. I actually don't live in that district, though. Instead, my husband and I have the tremendous pleasure of residing in the village of Sewickley, about 20 miles northwest of Pittsburgh and about 40 minutes by interstate from my school. It is totally worth my commute because Sewickley is the most quaint and the most charming place ever. No, really. Think Pleasantville here. Sewickley is a totally walkable community, and I've got easy access to literally everything, from the library to the post office, to coffee shops and restaurants, to the dentist, the drugstore and the supermarket, and the fitness studios. Because Thomas Tull, the former owner of Legendary Pictures, lives in Sewickley too, there's even a brand new state-of-the-art movie theater 5 blocks from my house. Sweet place to live, huh? Of course, as a Duke alum, I also consider North Carolina my home away from home, especially the western half. At some point, if and when I ever decide I'm ready to retire, which is not actually a given because I think I'd just be so bored. Anyway, if I ever do, I'm going to Asheville. But in the meantime, I spend a good chunk of my summers working at Green River Preserve, a summer camp outside Brevard, North Carolina, that was founded to provide constructivist and educational experiences for gifted kids. Speaking of Green River Preserve, my middle daughter had her October wedding there on top of a big mountain. Here's the whole clan. And just in case you're wondering about all of the tartan and the bagpiper, well, it's on account of my maiden name being Macmillan. Here I am, the mother of the bride. And I came by that relatively frazzled expression honestly. No wedding, as they say, is complete without a memorable snafu or two. So let's just say that the couple of hours prior to this photos being taken were very memorable indeed. This is my husband, Doug. When he's not wearing his kilt as the doting father of the bride, he's wearing a robe and a stole and serving as an interim intentional pastor for churches in transition. His usual gig is Presbyterian, but right now he's serving a Lutheran church. More or less relevant to the Millersville area, he's also worked with Moravian congregations. Our oldest daughter, Xandra, lives in Alexandria, Virginia, with her fiancé, Adam. She works right now for the Government Accountability Office, a not slightly ironic fact given the current climate in Washington, D.C. This is my baby, Mac. You may hear more about him during this course because I use him and his journey to represent the myriad ways that current school systems and educational paradigms can absolutely fail gifted kids who either don't fit or who don't want to fit into our rigid academic molds. He has found his passion, however, in the kitchen, and he currently works as a sous chef in a local restaurant. And here's the blushing bride, Mari, and her new husband, Adam. I know, it's not too confusing that the significant others of both my daughters share the name of Adam. Needless to say, conversation around our Thanksgiving table this year was a little misdirected. Anyway, Mari and Adam are leaving next week for a 2.5 to 3 year stint in Nepal, working with the Peace Corps. I'm sad, but I'm also excited for them. Let me know if any of you want to sign up for emails regarding Susan's eclectic mix for the Nepalese field trip crew, June 2021. One of my favorite things to do is yoga. I was prompted to try it on a dare from my oldest daughter about how she felt I could never possibly sit still and be calm that long. So I decided I'd prove her wrong, which I suspect is not a very compatible reason to start yoga, an activity designed to promote Zen. But one way or another, I'm a fully committed yogi now. I also like to read with a special penchant for mysteries and thrillers, even of the nonfiction variety. Since I have a decent commute to work each day, I've gotten into checking out audiobooks from the library. Given that I have turned into my mother and I fall asleep as soon as I pick up something to read, I'm going to make the audiobooks I hear equal to the hard copy books I actually pass my eyes over. They both count the same. Really, they do. Hey, work with me here. Even before Mac became a chef, I enjoyed cooking. To be honest, my daughter was right about my tendency to have limited patience, so I'm not very much into baking. Tray after tray of cookies in and out of the oven drives me a little nutso. But the other half of my culinary hobbies, the eating part, applies to both sweets and savory. I just love food. Well, except for the grocery putting away part of it. I don't mind the supermarket. I don't mind the checkout. I don't mind the driving to and from the store. But getting all that stuff into the kitchen, organized and stashed in the appropriate places, yarg, just yarg. Same goes for laundry. Don't mind doing it. Detest the lugging upstairs, the folding, and the putting away parts. Just saying. What I really like, though, no, I mean really like, as in unbridled joy, is teaching. I have the best job in the world right now, working with that eclectic and unexpected population that is gifted education. As you can see, I tend to keep my students and me very amused by all sorts of wild and crazy activities. Learning can make that should. Learning should be fun. But don't be fooled. There is a lot of deep reflection and broad connection making going underneath all that crazy stuff I do. I am never disappointed in the kinds of thinking my elementary students can share with me, or in the kind of latitudinal ahas they help me come up with. I might occasionally miss the increased paycheck from my administrative days, but do I regret stepping back into being Just a teacher? Ha, nah, no way, not even a little bit. Anyway, this is the anti-penultimate course of my gifted program. As much as I've enjoyed working with Millersville and colleagues like all of you, I have to admit I am ready to be done with graduate work, at least until some other degree seems like a good idea. So enough with the introduction already. Let's get started. Onward into GFED 690. Looking forward to working with y'all.